Okay, and I believe we're going live, and here we are. Good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully, you're doing well no matter where you are on the planet, here at the Bisimoto headquarters in Ontario, California, and hope this interaction meets you well no matter where you are. Last week, I didn't have the opportunity of joining all of you, friends and family, only because I had a vehicle on a dyno that took a lot of our time and just couldn't quite steal myself away or pull away to be able to interact with all of you. So hopefully you're not upset. But here I am again, alive in the flesh, and it should be a wonderful interaction with all of you. R35, R13, good afternoon to you as well. Hopefully you're doing great. Anton Nelgo, good seeing you as well. Thank you so much. It's been a while since I've been able to join here. It says cosplay contest. Thank you so much for joining. And as always, we have a variety of interactions here. I have all of you, friends and family, including you, Anton Nelgo, on Instagram. I also have my friends here on YouTube Live and also on TikTok, which has been quite nice. I've recent as well. And through the podcast networks, whether you're listening to Spotify Podcast, Podbean, Anchor, Google Podcasts, you name it, just search for Bisimoto and we come up. Is that Ralph? Yes, is that Ralph that's here? Good seeing you, sir, if that's you. Happy Tuesday to you, Josh Wonderbread. Thank you so much for joining indeed. What's up? How do you say that? Chewy's Customs 14R. Thank you so much for joining. Appreciate you indeed. And it's getting kind of cooler now. Oh my goodness, Fox Designs. Hello, brother. Good seeing you indeed. Fox Designs, Paul, a good friend who's been just an amazing individual who's helped tremendously with a lot of our builds, from the Mattel center seat to the Bisimoto wagon to most recently our electrified Rolls Royce. He's just a very creative guy who's just been a wonderful addition to our team and someone who I appreciate significantly. Mom Chi is saying some very naughty things on YouTube, but we'll let him be. Just dropped off near your shop, says Chewy's Customs 14R. Oh, shout out to the greatest provider of protein. Okay. Nothing yet. The Gearhead Court just started a couple minutes ago. Nothing major yet. Just coming in, doing all my greetings, so on and so forth. Let's see here. Any roads features coming up, says Fox Design. So Fox, not quite yet. And there's a good reason for that. And I think you're slightly privy to it. So you helped tremendously with the wood in the vehicle, which has been fantastic. But there's some other details in the car that are not up to our standards, and particularly with interior. So we're trying to get that rectified. As soon as we do that, everything will be fantastic and good to go with a lot more content above and beyond the ASMR we did recently. No, you're not late to Gearhead Court. You're just in time and all is well. Let's see. I need to get rid of someone here. Give me a second, guys. Report. And here, report. Okay. Okay. Okay, I only came for a tire change. What's taking tire change? Okay, very funny. Oh my god, that's funny, dude. Chip, thank you so much. Clutches my pearls, thank goodness. No worries. I know Fox Design, but more to come. Everything happens for a reason. But you did a great job, but there's so much. I'll give you a call soon, Paul, and bring you up to speed on what's going on. It was quite traumatic, and the team and I were all upset, and we're trying to find some kind of good in it. Is that a green screen? Asked Ray3898 here on TikTok. No, it's not. Behind me are a few project cars. That's a 1972 911 that we're doing some really cool modifications in terms of electrifying. That is a very unique vehicle that's kind of really secretive, I would say. Right here behind me, that you can see with the little bicycle wheels. There's a bus right there in the rear that's going to get some airbag system stuff done, but that should be good to go after we mount some tires. And there's a twin turbo Cayman up top right above me. So not a green screen. I'm actually right here. You see car right here. This is green screen. Yeah. So nope, it is real. Any builds for next year's SEMA, says Trey. Yes. Right now, let's see, there's one right outside. So if someone drove by, they'll see one of the SEMA cars are ready for next year. We'll get that going. There's a couple other project vehicles, but nothing that we've worked on right now as we have already. And there's another vehicle in the corner there that has some gull-wing doors. I don't think you guys can see it from here. That's planned to go to SEMA next year as well. So already we have 2 cars in house. That should be very nice, you know. I do love that blue on the Porsche, says Dude Chip. Yes, that is a Miami blue, which is quite nice indeed, eh? Porsche, says Samuel Felipe from YouTube. Thank you so much for the kind gesture. I appreciate you indeed. So, guys, for those of you who are fairly new, hello, Griff Oifo. This show is the Bisimoto Tech Tuesday. This is where I share literally everything I know about all things technology that I've experienced, whether it's petrol, hybrid, EV, you name it, ask away, and I'm here to answer those questions. And why do I do that? I do this because this country has been good to me. When I was younger, as a teenager, I wanted to learn all I could about cars. I couldn't get anyone to commit to really help me with that, and I felt really bad. And now I'm trying to be that person I needed when I was younger. Fox Design says Miami Blue. Shoot, that's BC Blue. Thank you so much. I think we have a Mexico Blue here, Miami Blue here, the Bisimoto Electric Blue. Yeah, thank you so much. Want to sell that bus, says Polar Bear. No, it's a client's car. He hasn't even enjoyed it quite yet, and unless the offer is quite lucrative, he will not want to sell that thing. Put a flat 6 on the VW bus, says A Drifting Hell on TikTok. Interesting you said that, because what lays beneath the rear or hindquarters of that bus is an electric setup, 450 horsepower, integrated inverter, motor, and transaxle, which is quite unique, blisteringly fast, just absolutely amazing. So to put in a flat 6, what is water cooled or air cooled, would kind of make that thing slower unless you put some serious coin into that, right? Where's the van? Asked J-Rod at my residence. Thank you for asking. Thank you, says Polar, my pleasure indeed. Thank you, A Drifting Hell, says nice indeed. BC, do you have any 530 Puro back in stock? No, not at this time. All I have in stock now is 020, 1040, some SAE 30 and SAE 40 break-in, and I think that's it for now. Maybe a little bit of 2050, but no 530 yet. So my sincere apologies for that. If you can get away with 1040, or even if you have something that can accept at 020, you can take care of your post haste. XO truck is going 64, 66. That is nice. And for those of you who don't know what he's talking about, what is a 64, 66? That's a turbo designation size, 64 being the inducer on the compressor side, just the size of the inducer wheel itself, 64 millimeters. The exhaust exducer wheel with the smaller part of it going outward is a 66 millimeter. So that should be a lot of fun, especially if it's one of the modern billets with some newer aerodynamic technology. That's always really good. Do you still do tunes? Yes, I do. For like that car up there, you see that white twin turbo up there? That's a track car. If it's a full off-road vehicle, we can take care of it. If it's street cars, we do not touch whatsoever. Hope that helps. Where's the Odyssey? Asked S2K Morgan here on YouTube. Thank you so much. Good seeing you as well. It's at my residence. Have it. Drive from time to time. I think the last event we went to with that was the Super Street After Dark event in Compton, California. That's where the Odyssey is, at my residence. Thank you for doing this, BC, says Arthur Sporetto. Says, noble of you to offer knowledge, sharing this like this. My pleasure indeed. I'm here to help. Haven't seen your channel in years. What projects are currently in progress? Says Drain Girl 99. Wow, it's been a while since you've seen us. Well, a lot has happened over the past half decade. Have a great supportive team here. Just based upon demand, we've been doing a lot of electrification recently, but we're all about clean technology. So for example, that's something very unique that's very clean there. This is going to be a zero emissions blue vehicle there. Bus zero emissions. You can see a little Porsche right there peeking out. That's going to be running on ethanol as well. That also is set up to run on ethanol, even though it's a track build. So that being said, yeah, absolutely. Whatever your latest EV build is, what lessons have you learned from previous builds? Like, I'm now doing X when I used to do Y, says Kovolt. And Kovolt, fellow engineer and also enthusiast who does wonderful things. I would say what I have learned to do nowadays that I didn't do in the past, I would say the equipment I use, from everything from crimping to some of the components that I now have access to, is vastly superior to what I've done in the past. Contactor boxes, as Jonathan has been kind enough to assist with that as well, is getting smaller and smaller. So my contactor box footprint used to be really large to allow for a lot of moving around. But now that I've been able to use components that are much smaller components that kind of work in unison very nicely is very good. I've been able to do that and make it a much smaller contactor box moving forward. I'm using a lot more CAN devices than I did before. My very first build, the K3V in particular, a lot of my protocols to turn things on was a DC to DC or a onboard charger, or even some of the components I use for headlights and taillights all used to be very mechanical in nature, where I use a 12-volt ground trigger to turn things on. Now I use a lot of CAN bus, and it simplifies wiring, makes a vehicle much lighter, and allows me to do a lot more sleuthing if there's any challenges, which rarely comes up, but when it does, I can be able to easily pinpoint what's going on. So those are some of my wins, I would say, with my EV builds. Is the components I use, what I use to assemble them, and the type of protocols that I've employed for communication and for control. It's very nice. What skills are required to be part of your team? It depends. So everything from logistics to fabrication to assembly, it depends. So for example, on the fabrication side, you have to have some very good fabrication experience to be able to assist the team. From logistics, being able to do great project management. With general repair and maintenance, you have to have a very good working knowledge of everything mechanical. So it depends on what skill set you have. It's quite varied here at Bisimoto. And above and beyond that, no 2 days are alike. As Nick, who just joined the team recently, can attest to, it's not monotonous. Every day is different. I think yesterday he was working on this crazy Porsche Cayman up there, and now he's working on a Lotus Caterham 7, which is pretty crazy as well. So yeah, lots of different things, and it's really, really, really fun. Is it normal to detune peak torque and taper boost curve of redline to maximize horsepower and lesser strength bottom ends, assuming cams and valve train or suited for it? Yes, that is quite normal. I've been able to reduce torque to save drive lines and reduce torque many times to save my dyno. And you may say, what does that mean? Well, I have a dyno pack which can really do a great job up to 1200 horsepower, but it has a peak torque max capability of 3,000 Newton meters, right? So if I exceed that, especially with some big displacement, big turbo applications, I have to kind of detune it so that my dyno doesn't shut down and say, oh my God, that's too much torque for it, But yes, it is very commonplace to do that to save gearboxes. I've done an S2000s, which I'm telling you, whether it's AP1 or AP2, it's like those gearboxes are made of glass. So many times we detune peak torque, especially if it comes on hard and fast, until they upgrade to some kind of crazy quave sequential, or a very popular one we've seen here in Southern California is using a 370Z gearbox and mating it with adapter plate to an F20C or F22C, and it's just been great. And that way we can put the torque back in, and it handles it without qualm. Whether you're doing burnouts, launches from stop, drifting, whatever case may be, it's good. No problem whatsoever. Thank you so much for following the live creator. Appreciate you. How do you say, Kawasaki Oscar 03, appreciate you. Sorry about the noise in the background, guys. My team is working away. One thing that we do with a lot of our builds here, especially with the EV conversions, is we try to make the interiors look very, very factory. And so when you sit in any of our EV performance conversions, you can't tell. Some of my other competitors love having screens and so on and so forth. We like to keep the essence of the original classic car. So whether it's this Caterham right here, the bus up there, this 1972 911 with the oil door and all that fun stuff. When you sit in the car, nothing gives away that's electric. Nothing, not the shifter, not the gauges, nothing. Maybe a little hint of why is my RPM limit at 18,500 RPMs opposed to 7,800. That may be a little giveaway, but apart from that, nope. It is absolutely spectacular. So that's what we do. It's a lot of fun indeed. Hello, Nate Mark 7.5. Thanks for joining. Appreciate you. R35, R13. Have a pleasant one as well. Clement Jamer asked if I saw his previous comment. No, I did not. Forgive me. It's a lot going on at the same time. And as I may have mentioned earlier, I have you on Instagram. I have my YouTube friends and family right here live as well. TikTok is active, and also through the podcast networks, I have my Spotify podcasters open as well. So I have all these screens going on. Sometimes a few of you may ask for a tour of me to walk around. It's almost impossible for me to have all this equipment and do all this stuff. So please bear with me, but I appreciate you indeed. Please ask away and hopefully I can get to you. So thank you so much. BC, looking to build a car with my son. Should I carry the Salvage title? One of 5,000? Absolutely not, especially if it's a passion build. Salvage cars, depending on the nature of the salvage capabilities or lack thereof, it's not a bad idea. I have a Cayman, twin turbo Cayman. You know that one's salvage. It was a water damaged vehicle. I didn't care about electronics, and luckily for me, only the body module was damaged, and I swapped it out. Car started right up. So I'm okay with water damage as long as it doesn't go past the center of the wheel. I'm okay with some body damage if a car is totaled, as long as the main frame of the vehicle is not compromised and it's not challenged at all. The one caveat I see, especially in the US with salvage cars, is if you want to resell it later on, the value is not as strong. Because even though the vehicle may be sound and absolutely amazing, people just get a little afraid of salvage cars. They don't know what they're getting, and for good cause, because sometimes people do a bad job putting salvage cars back together. So that being said, as a passion build, none whatsoever. You won't believe how many Porsches I have that are salvage, Hondas I've had that are salvage. I don't care. It's gonna be my car. I race it, track it, have fun with it. Doesn't bother me. As long as it's sound mechanically, I am good. I'm good. What's up, by the way? It says 1 of 5,000. Things are great, can't complain. Cool today, not as cold as yesterday or the day before here at the shop. The sun is out, it's nice. We're supposed to have a high of, I believe, 72 today. Last week, I think one of the days we had a high of 60, 58, 60. It was crazy for us in SoCal. I know for many of you across the country, it's like, that's warm. But for us SoCal people, we are spoiled indeed. Thanks, BC, says Extra Truck. I've been worried about my H-beam rods in 2,000 head stud, so I like to keep it around 500 wheel torque and push towards 700 horsepower by 7,500. Yes, you can do that. And that's the beauty of using an engine management solution that allows you to have some kind of electronic boost control. You can really tailor your power curve ideally, like in your case, to allow you to stay safe and reliable. You can dampen the torque at peak torque based upon boost and some ignition timing, and then ramp it in as you go up in RPM. And you should be able to eat your cake and have it too. It's actually quite nice indeed. Okay, try to fix all this here. All right, good afternoon, Owen Bush. Thank you for joining. Amari from Import Alliance, good to see you as well. Hello, Amari, long time. Hopefully you'll be doing well. Is Import Alliance still going on? I haven't seen anything on the West Coast. Please let me know. Your events are pretty good. Hey man, says Alex Han from TikTok, says, big fan, can you share a bit about the Accord y'all built for the SEMA years ago? Yes, so he's asking about this 2013 Honda Accord that was it 2013 or 2014? I think it was 2013, yeah, 2013 Honda Accord that we built for American Honda. So in this year, it was a newer generation Accord with a J-Series engine. We had a very limited time frame to build this beautiful thing. It came to us Black in Nature EX, really beautiful leather and all that fun stuff. So what we do, we upgrade the interior. Because we had limited time to build it, I think we had maybe 7-8 weeks to build this car. We had to do some immediate suspension adjustments. I believe we got suspension from our friends at Progress to help with that, because it was kind of a new chassis with some slight differences from the previous year. So we had the ability to lower it quite nicely. In normal BC fashion, we would build a turbo kit, but we did not have the time to do an engine management solution and also have the opportunity to be able to incorporate a standalone ECU. And of course, at that time, Honda didn't have anything for that J-Series setup. So what do? We did intake, we did headers, we did exhaust, and then we added a nitrous express kit. We did like a wet system, and with wet, we incorporate nitrous into the intake and also some fuel. And think of it as like a chemical supercharger. Nitrous allows you to be able to add a lot more oxygen to the engine, and with the appropriate amount of fuel, you can make a lot of nice power. And it gives us a nice little bump in that beautiful Accord. Because I started getting to the whole Porsche scene, I wanted to pay a nod to my newfound love of automobiles. So the look was more of like a GT3 kind of look with the checkered flag on the side, like a Porsche like a brushed gray color, like a brownish gray with the red. So it looks very GT3, had a very nice nod to it. Brake wise, we updated some brakes from our friends at Buddy Club and also ran Buddy Club wheels as well. So that was the build. It was a nitrous infused Honda Accord from 2013 that we built for American Honda, put in the booth. After driving it for a little bit of time, it was just a matter of months, and my barber at the time, when it was jockeying and wanted it so badly, made me an offer and took it off my hands. So I think he still has it. I think Izzy still has that car to today. So it's really a lot of fun. So thank you so much for your question. Appreciate you indeed. What's up, Moose from South Africa on TikTok? Thank you so much for joining all across the pond. Appreciate you. Patrick from SoCal is here. Twin Turbo 370Z, built and tuned by Specialty Z. Specialty Z guys, I've seen their work. Impressive indeed. What's up, man? Subaru Rally Rat from IG. Thank you so much for joining. Time Attack TLX, I say, says BC's a legend in the EF chassis world. Thank you so much for the kind words. I appreciate that indeed. What about designing a prototype Group C? Let's see, I think that's neo-retro style with the motorism of your choice. I know it's really expensive, but in order to create something more unique, this Clement Jamar, I like how you think. That may be something we can explore. Our next year is already filling up quite rapidly, so I don't know if that's something we can do quite soon. But I do like your concept. I do like Group C prototype vehicles. I really do. So thank you so much for sharing that. Jeff for DC, how do you say that? Is that DC? No, okay. Jeff Ward, Cliff, Lewis. That's how you say it. All the way from Jamaica. Thank you so much for joining. Where's the van? We missed it. Says everyone is asking about the van today. That's my fourth van question today. It's at my residence, not here at the shop. Shop is pretty packed with cars. It doesn't quite look like it now, but it's pretty packed. But yeah, it's pretty good. What's the bike wheel thing? Says Willis BO3. That's a project that used to have a canopy cover on it that the team cut in half. And the reason why that looks like that is, I'll give you a little hint. It's a project that I will do a very nice walk around on very soon. It started its life as a two-seater kind of a bicycle mobile that's enclosed. And what we're doing with this is we're gonna add a little bit of creature comforts, and it had a two-stroke motorcycle-like engine in it, which doesn't really have a good aperture to allow for evacuation of any gases that may exist. So what we're doing, we're turn that into electric, so have zero emissions. It'll be fun, a lot more torque, a lot faster. If someone wants to pedal with them partners or by themselves, they can do it. But if you also want the ability to just, without any kind of energy exertion from you, boom, you can have the great opportunity to just accelerate and decelerate with a flick of your wrist, which should be very nice indeed. Huh? Okay, let's see here. In the process of case swapping a 996, says Owen, but really? That should be interesting. So for those of you who don't know what a 996 is, this is the Porsche 911 generation from, if I remember something correctly, 1999 to 2004. I think maybe not even that far, 2003, 2004. And that was the first time that Porsche went water-cooled with a 911. Some people find them quite endearing, including myself. I like those. Some Porsche people think the engines are the worst ever. They've had some slight scares with intermediate shafts going south, but it's a very small percentage. But some companies have made a great living scaring a lot of Porsche files into changing their intermediate shaft bearings and making those engines not as popular. But if you do expire one of those engines, it's still a pretty penny to explore. So putting a K-series Honda engine in that may be very nice. Also much more reliable and a lot more aftermarket support. We support it because we have rods and all kind of valve train components for the M96 engine out of the Porsche 996. But the K-series Honda is just amazing in terms of support. And the beauty also with him putting in a 996 is that both the Porsche engine and the Honda K-series engine turn clockwise. So you don't have to do anything crazy with drivetrain. You can just make an adapter plate with a customized clutch and a flywheel assembly, and boom, you have all the support, all the power, cost effective in the back of a Porsche, and you open the engine bay like, oh my God, that looks crazy. So send photos, Owen Bush, when you're done. That is a very nice project indeed. Joe Gonzalo. I'm just butchering names here, am I not? I have a 1969 Porsche 912. Good choice, and I'll tell you in a moment why this is a good choice. Any ideas how much power I can add? I want to redo the whole car top to bottom. So it depends on what you want to do, Joe Gonzalo. For those of you who don't know, the 912 is what was referred to back in the day as the quote-unquote poor man's 911, which it wasn't quite. It was actually a 911 in stature and how it looked, whether you're looking at something from the late 60s or early 70s to mid 70s even. But it came with a flat 4 engine, which is more akin to what you see in a Volkswagen Bug, opposed to the flat 6s that you see in most 911s, or in all 911s. So I guess it would more resemble in terms of power plant what you see in a 356 than what you would see in a 911. Now, what makes those a lot of fun and why I find them appealing is as a racer, it is like the racer's go-to Porsche. And what do I mean by that? Because it was a 912, it didn't have all the accoutrements like electric doors in terms of power windows up and down. They didn't have sunroofs. All those luxury items that added weight were non-existent in the Porsche 912. So it made them very lightweight and a favorite of racers. Fast forward to today, those cars are sought after. As a matter of fact, we have two 912s here in the house. The oldest car I have here that's Porsche in my facility is a 1967 912 short wheelbase, and I also have a 1976. Both of those cars are going to be done in electric fashion because I just love electrifying Porsches. In my opinion, it's the best of all worlds. I finally have a Porsche that won't leak. That's a lot of fun. It starts up each time. Just absolutely amazing. I don't have to worry about emissions whatsoever, especially with the 1976 one. 1967 in California, they don't care about emissions with those, but definitely the 76, anything post 1975 is subject to emissions regulations. So having electric is a great way to go with that. Now, for your 1969 912, if you want to retain the factory power plant, you're a little bit limited to what you can do with the flat 4. Some people do headers on those. They swap out to downdraft carburetors to be able to get a little bit of power, but it starts adding up in cost quite a bit. What my customers have done is very similar to what this chap did with the 1972 he has here, is to update it to electric drivetrain. There's so many options out there, especially for here at Bisimoto. And we have payment plans for people who want to be able to do it in a very concise fashion. Some people are kind of anti-EV until they drive one of mine. They're like, oh my God, this is the best thing in the world. You sit in these old Porsches, it feels like an old Porsche, smells like an old Porsche, but when you touch that pedal, it is out of control. Amazing. So that's some of the things you can do. Let me know if you want to stay petrol or if you like to explore the wonderful, exciting world of electrification. Either way, we can help you. Hey BC, says Eric R, would you ever consider getting an RWB kit? Eric, not really. It's not my cup of tea. As much as I like Nakai, and we've done 6 RWBC motos, I call it RWBC moto. See what I did there? We've done 6 of those from ITBs to natural aspirated to boosted. We've done quite a few. I like the look of them because they look like exaggerated GT2 track cars. But you know I'm a big slant nose guy. When it comes to body panels and kits and modifications, I'm all about the slant noses. I'm about the 935s, whether you're looking at the earlier 935, 935 78s, the Mobis, the M16s, the Kremer vehicles, K4s, K2s. I just love those. Even that right there, so right there is a 935 Tribute as well. So I just love those. So based upon my appeal for boxy Group 5 cars, RWB is not in my cards for my own personal arsenal, but for customers, we can do it all day, every day. Nakai's been here at our facility and he's built a few here. It's been a lot of fun. I should really post some more of that so people can see what we've been up to here at Bisimoto. Keep up the good work, says Ja Razal. Thank you so much. Appreciate the kind words. What about making your own body kit, a BC custom kit? I have considered that. I've considered a 935-ish vehicle kit, which will probably have very similar dimensions, which I think is perfect for the Kremer K3, but with a nice Bisimoto touch to it and making our own. So you're on board with what we plan on doing sometime, hopefully sooner than later. Lambda Menace, hello brother, hopefully you're doing well. Do you still have access to Hyundai to help me tuning a 3.8 Gen Coupe? Finishing up the engine, I want to bring a car for a proper tune. Unfortunately, Lambda Menace, what we did with flashing of Hyundais kind of limited us quite a bit. When it came to being able to make big power, we had to go with a full standalone. And What I did with my Genesis Coupe is I kind of backdated the direct injection, the GDI, to MPI, to multi-point injection, and then added an AM Infinity to it. So I had to lay in a full standalone to be able to do that. So something that can play with the factory ECU, I don't have any access to that. If you end up going with something full standalone, maybe we can assist, but it depends on how crazy you go. Hopefully that helps. This bicycle style vehicle reminds me of the movie Race the Sun. I haven't seen that. That should be pretty interesting. What about, let's see, Eric said, that's awesome, man. Hope to see it come to life. Thank you. Same here, Eric. Appreciate you. Build an all-wheel drive 4-gen Prelude. Something different, says Alex Ayard. As a matter of fact, I will be having discussions this weekend, hopefully, about possibly building a new Prelude for next year. So wish me luck. Keep my fingers crossed. Hopefully Honda can allow us to have some magic. And I like the fact that it's going to be hybrid. And I'm very curious to some of the technologies that exist there. We can extract a lot more power and have a lot more fun with that as well. We'll see what happens. All right, let's see. Low Living FA20. Thanks so much for joining. Appreciate the kind gesture. Bunta9086, good seeing you by the way, brother, says, for us in California, how do you work around the K-Series swap logistics? I believe you have to change out the entire gas tank, don't you? Yes. If you do a K-Series swap, and the proper way to do it is to take all the emissions equipment into it and then transplant to your vehicle of choice. So what typically happens in California is your vehicle is held to the emission standards of whatever is newer on the car. So if you have a new chassis with an old engine, that new chassis is the newest part of your build, and it needs to match emission standards for that year of car and model as well. If you have an old car, let's say you have a 77 Corolla, and you swap in a 2020, let's say 2000 engine. Let me make it even better. Let's say you put a 2012 K24 Z7 engine into that lovely old school Toyota of yours. You have to match the emission standards of the year 2012 with the OBD port and the vent in the tank and the charcoal canister and all the accoutrements. Is quite involved, but very, very satisfying when you're done. And that's it. One of the reasons why I think electrification is much nicer and easier and less headache anyway. But that's what you have to do. So yes, your assumption, Bunta 9086, is correct. Everything has to be done. And trust me, in California, when you go to a state rep or CHP to get, say certified, they look for that stuff. It's pretty crazy, Okay, how are you doing, my friends? Says Tommy Performance. I am doing great, sir. Hopefully you're doing great as well. Oh, Joe Gonzalo says that his 912 a custom body kit. Send me a picture, Joe. I want to see it. I want to check out your stuff. I want to check it out, Did you do the 1,000 horsepower minivan as 3 hooks 47 on TikTok? Yes. It is I, BC from Bisimoto. We built that vehicle in 7 weeks. The most difficult car for me to build up to that time. The most expensive build I ever did. It was actually poo-pooed initially because the powers that may be at American Honda said that's a bad idea. But Chris Martin, who was West Region PR, put his neck on the line and made it happen. And it's been one of the best things that he's ever done in terms of SEMA builds. For us, it's been our most popular car. No matter what I build, I can build the most amazing Porsches in the world, the most crazy electric vehicles. I have the Rolls Royce right here. No one cares. It's all about the value, right? No matter what I do. So it's pretty good. I remember seeing a video on that. Sick build, says 3 hooks 47. Thank you so much. Appreciate the kind words. Was that car on the Netflix show Fastest Cars? Says ALW. Yes, it was indeed. The Odyssey was there in the flesh. We call you shortly to do an EV swap. That's exactly what I was thinking. Yes, you should do it. I'm telling you, Joe Gonzalo, there are 2 912 styles I've seen. One is using what is known as the Hyper 9 motor. I don't like those. That's the first 912 I saw. Really clean 912. This guy restored it beautifully. But, more power. It made like 160 horsepower and kept the original 915 gearbox. But the stuff I build, Joe, the stuff I do with an integral, I wish I can raise this up so you can kind of see some of what's going on. You see a lot of orange wires in there. Your car be lighter than factory, and if any 930 pulls up to you, you will destroy it. It's just so much fun. And it has this whine, this mechanical whine, which is pretty good. It's just amazing. Nick, are you still here? Yeah. Did you have enough oil or you need more?
No, I need more.
You do?
Yeah.
So that thing was dry.
It was dry.
Okay, you have to take my card and this is $75.90. Yeah, we have to do that for my.
Advance?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Use my account so that we can get better pricing for resale.
Okay.
Okay. That is supposed to hold a quart and a half, they said.
Just one quart.
Yeah, just one quart may suffice. Yeah, thank you. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. Even though I talk to all of you, friends and family, business continues. You have to keep working and moving on, eh? You know? Hello, my Cafe 50. Oh, Born a Drummer. Hello, Glenn, sir. Guys, Born a Drummer is on TikTok. Glenn, what a wonderful soul. This chap has done it all. I mean, his life is just amazing. From movie stars to dating actresses and models to having just a wonderful life and traveling around the world and getting into some trouble and living in the Fontainebleau out in Florida. And I talked about Rolls Royce. My goal with him is to take the Rolls Royce cruising and we'll go down to 50's Cafe in the west side of LA and have some fun. Maybe go out to Rodeo Drive and capture some of our shenanigans. So, Glenn, I really appreciate you, Dee. Thank you so much for being a great friend. I miss you deeply, and we need to come out and see you very, very soon, Jess and I. Okay, let's see here. Love the slat nose, says George-Anthony. Thank you so much. Same here. Appreciate that. I see a gentleman or lady here from Japan with a Toyota Crown. Thank you so much for joining. Appreciate you indeed. Out here, all across the pond on YouTube Live. RW Bisimoto is 6, says George-Anthony. Thank you so much. We did 6 of them. If I remember, we did a white one, we did an orange one, we did a red one, we did a brown one for Crooks and Castles. I'm trying to think of the other 2 that we did one for EA, which is just absolutely amazing. That one was really cool, one of my favorite ones. It's where Electronic Arts for Need for Speed had this vehicle that was a 964, kind of rusted Chicago-based vehicle, and they had this competition for people to submit drawings that they would like to see this car look like, and it was kind of a Magnus Walker-inspired RWB, and we brought this drawing to life. So we had a drawing to life. So I need to post more of this stuff because it's pretty cool, but people keep forgetting about it. So I definitely need to do that. Anyway, but fun indeed. So thank you so much for sharing that and for your interaction. Visit you never let us down, bros. Kudos, says BB Squad JBO. Never let us down. I will not let you down. I'll try my best. Let's see here. Good day, Artec Moto. Love your screen name, by the way. Thank you so much for joining. If you're not learning, you are not growing, and that is true. That is the reason why, team, family, friends, I share everything, literally everything I know. Because technology improves. Can you imagine as far back as maybe 2018, I didn't know anything about electrification. And look at us now. So that comes from constantly evolving, always learning, doing all these wonderful things. And Arctic Moto is 100% correct. If you're not learning, you are not growing at all. Jolly B-Boys, thank you so much for joining. Appreciate you. Ricky, hello, brother, says long time no see. Happy holidays. In regards to the family, regards to you as well. Ricky's a fellow enthusiast, average Bisimoto supporter who I've known for many, many years. I used to run into him to events like crazy left and right when I used to go to a lot of events. Nowadays, I'm constantly working and not having time for much of anything. But it's good. Good seeing you nonetheless, Ricky. Good evening, BC, says Turbo86C. Glad to be able to share that I'm going to be a dad. Congratulations, Daddy. Appreciate you. Hopefully on 25th of February. Any good tips you'd like to share for us first-timers? Yes. Turbo86C, sleep. Sleep as much as you can now. I mean it, because very soon you're not going to be sleeping. Honestly, it is, having a first child is a very rewarding experience. Your life is completely changed, many times upside down, but it's not bad, it's just very different. So, but I did mean it on the sleep thing. Get as much sleep and rest you can now, because babies, those first few weeks are brutal. Unless you're very lucky to where your child is able to just very quickly get into the cycle of sleeping at night or not, So
which one should I get?
Well, I need 7590.
Okay.
So if they have it in royal purple, I'll take it.
Okay.
But I need 7590.
75.
Yeah, please, thank you. Okay, let's see here. Can you remind me of the BMS you use, says Rest Motors? Oh yes, no problem. I use the Orion BMS too. So the Orion BMS, every vehicle in here, that has an Orion, that has an Orion, that has an Orion, that has an Orion. Yeah, Orion is what I use. That's my BMS of choice. And for those of you wondering what is a BMS, BMS is a battery management system. And that, in my opinion, is the king when it comes to electrification of vehicles, or even its Caterham has a Orion. And what it does, it monitors and manages your battery system to make sure that when it's charged properly. It's almost like, you know how they say, I heard the analogy of pouring beer into a glass. You kind of pour it in, and then when you get to the end, you kind of, no, don't keep going, kind of just tip it off so the foam can come up and kind of stop. The BMS allows that to happen during charging. If you're discharging, you're flooring it, it allows the opportunity to be able to limit how much the motor can pull from the batteries, because if you kind of discharge a battery below its lower voltage limit, the batteries can be very upset, get really hot, and have what is known as thermal runaway, which means catches on fire. So it's really the king when it comes to batteries. Batteries, in my opinion, are everything. It allows you to be able to get set up to be fast or not, and to be reliable or not, and also to affect your range. So it's a wonderful thing. So that's my choice. Thoughts on the first gen CRV? I like them. I like first gen CRVs. I like the look. They look classic now. It's so sad, but they look classic. Especially the all-wheel drive versions that use a B series engine. I use the LS. It's really nice indeed. I like them a lot. Hello, S2 Boost. Thanks so much for joining. Appreciate you indeed. My pleasure indeed, Rest Motors. Want to do research on battery storage systems, says Rest Motors? Let us know. We are here to help. Is that a twin turbo Cayman on the lift? Yes, it is a twin turbo Cayman on the lift. Nice track car that still has a factory M97 engine. And I think we'll be able to push that to about 400 and kind of keep it there to stay reliable. Missed that Need for Speed RWB? Maybe, Drew. It was a highlight of my childhood, and missed the Festival of Speed. I missed the Festival of Speed as well, too. Festival of Speed, guys, is a big Porsche event gathering, one of the largest ones in Southern California that happened at the Way in Fontana. Bisimoto Engineering was a huge supporter and sponsor for that event. It was a go out with the team and bring a bunch of cars, participate in the parades, sell products. It was just great. It was good indeed. So yeah, we had a lot of fun. Anyway, speaking of fun, I need to get back to work. So guys, it's a pleasure seeing all of you. We're together for well over 45 minutes. But I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Stay safe. Appreciate your interaction and have a pleasant balance of the week. Take care, everyone. Cheers.